Have you ever started learning a skill and for whatever reason things aren't ideal at that moment and you think to yourself, right, I'll put this on hold and I'll come back to it soon. But then, weeks, months, or even years go by and then you think to yourself one day, oh my God, if I just stuck to that thing, imagine how good I would be at it right now. I think this is very common with languages. There are all sorts of reasons why you could be dissatisfied with the way things are going. Maybe your schedule has gotten busy, or you're frustrated by a lack of good resources. And then again, months later, you think, oh my God, just imagine how fluent my Spanish could be if I just stuck at it. So that's the topic of today's video, and we'll talk about why I think we should all be really careful of falling into that trap. Now, if you like these videos, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please feel free to check out my book over at my website, full of pictures and all kinds of stuff. It's been about 1 year now since I published this, and I've had so much wonderful feedback, so thank you to everyone who bought that. So I've been learning Mandarin Chinese for the last few months and documenting it on this channel. And one of the things that's been interesting is I've found it really hard to find really good resources that I personally really liked. I've tried lots of different applications and websites, even had a quick look at a few different textbooks, but I just haven't found anything that I loved as much as other resources, such as Babbel, for example. So even when learning Swedish, where it was also a bit difficult to find lots of good content, I still had Babbel Swedish right from the beginning with tons of content that really got me pretty far. And with Mandarin, I just haven't found anything quite like that I just really loved. The interesting thing though is that I haven't stopped. I think in the past, maybe when I first started learning languages, I probably would have either gotten frustrated and maybe just stopped for a while, or I might have just said like, I'll take a break and like maybe I'll just go and find some other resources, and when I find something really ideal, then I'll come back to my Chinese studies. But again, the issue with that is that over and over in my life, it's not just with languages. I can't count the number of times that I've done that, where I've put something on hold and then I've thought, oh my God, if I just kept doing that a little bit every day, just imagine how good I'd be now. And I've met loads of people with that same story, and I think probably most of us, especially those of us who are actively learning things all the time, we've probably experienced that, and it can be very frustrating, and I think sometimes it can even be overwhelming, where you think to yourself, well look, it's too late. I mean, by now I could have been here, I'm still here. I do think that thought can sometimes crush the motivation we have left to keep going. And that's why I just think it's so important, although it may sound obvious, we've just got to stick with it. That is the most important thing. So with language learning, I talked in my previous episode about what to do when it feels like you're not getting better. And one of the most important points there was you got to keep going. The fact is that if you're spending time with a language every single day, especially quality time, you are getting better. And so even if you're frustrated with, in my case, the resources that you've got, and you feel like I could be learning a lot more quickly if I had access to perhaps native speakers or advanced speakers that could help me more, or just better resources, or you're comparing it to something else that you learned in the past that was much more smooth, even then, the most important thing is to just stick with it. And so with Chinese, I have stuck with it. I have tried a number of resources. As I mentioned, I've tried actually quite a lot of different applications and websites. And again, although I do feel like I could have learned a lot more in this short period of time, even with the 30 minutes a day that I've been dedicating to Chinese, deliberately, because I am very busy, and as you'll probably know, I'm trying to document what it's like to learn a language with only 30 minutes to maybe an hour in a day. Even though I feel like I could have learned a lot more, I've still learned a lot. I've kept going. Every time I try a new app, even if I end up doing the beginner stuff and the basics again, I'm reinforcing all those basics that I certainly haven't fully internalized yet. I'm reinforcing the knowledge I might have of tones or intonation or the rhythm of Mandarin Chinese. And of course, every single app will introduce new words that I haven't seen before. And then in some cases, like Glossica, I've been exposed to lots and lots of sentences and phrases that I definitely hadn't seen before. So the main thing here is that I have just kept going, and so now my Chinese has gotten a lot better. I'm finally just about starting to be able to begin expressing myself. I just had a very shaky conversation with the cleaner in my office, who I mentioned in my last episode, who's a lovely lady. and humors me, and you know, as I inflict my horrible Mandarin Chinese on her. So I'm really starting to see some progress. So I just wanted to stress that today, that, you know, you just got to keep going and try to never fall into that trap where you say, I'll put it on hold and I'll come back to it soon. You know, if your schedule gets really busy, like mine has been insane recently. I've got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that hopefully will be over soon, but it's a huge period of transition for me, which is why YouTube has been difficult for me to keep up with a little bit. But I refused to let Chinese slip, and even if it's 15 minutes, I've still done something with Chinese every day. And so not only do I not feel that regret of having put it on pause and thinking, oh, how good could I be now? I also feel really proud and really happy that I stuck with this. And it makes me more motivated to just keep going. So that's today's message. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to check out the Robin Learns Chinese While Busy series or any of my other videos. There's loads of content. And like I said before, subscribe if you enjoy my channel. Thank you.